No amp, but still fun to play. What's going on here? We've just done our Q&A and went to go live from Zoom to Facebook, and Facebook was blocking it. So I had to do it on YouTube, but that'll be uploaded later. So there's also the speeches and the Q&A from the launch, the campaign launch that we did the other night, which was hugely successful. Great night. Very appreciative of the volunteers and everybody that helped put that together, because it was a full house and it was great. It was really empowering. So thank you for that. Today, this is a quick one, just to re-mention some of the some of the tools that are available currently. I've just put out that program on my website, which is the Empowered Communication in Commerce. And a lot of people keep asking about notices and what they can actually put in with regards to things like, jabs, mask mandates, and everything. So I prefer to empower myself with the ability to do something rather than needing somebody to provide something for me. But part of that is the educational process, obviously, of actually learning how to do that. So what we've done over at Heal Me is we've put together a 3-step process, which is for mask mandates. And specifically, this is for, if you've got kids at school, this is something you can serve on the schools. But what it is essentially it's a template for this is how to do a 3-step conditional acceptance. It's called a private administration process. Why it's a private administration process is you form an agreement with whoever you serve the notices on, and it pulls that agreement into the private. Now, there is no law in the land that is higher than an agreement between two people, because everything is based on contractual agreements and commerce in what we're occupied within. So when you have an agreement formed and it's in the private, all that needs to be done is administrated. If that goes to a court, they don't judge it, they administrate the decision. And the decision goes to, how is this paperwork sorted out? What is the agreement that's been formed? And then the administration goes to whoever has the agreement formed. It's very simple and it's very effective. It's something that I've used many times, is a private administration process which forms an agreement in the private, and then either people have to settle or they back off on their claims, or it gets administrated by a tribunal, civil tribunal, or a court. And every single one of those has gone in my favor since I began using them. But then people go, well, how do you do it? Like, what's the process? How do you write a notice? And it's just one of those things where I think people are a bit short on time at the moment. So my first preference is not to do things like templates and processes through someone. I firmly believe that you need to know yourself first and foremost. When something comes from there and then it comes through paperwork and is served on someone else, to me, that lands better than really not knowing who you are in here, hoping for the best by getting a template from someone and then serving that. Having said that, because of the ridiculousness of what we're seeing in the world at the moment, even those kinds of templates are still having a positive effect. So what the team at Heal Me have put together is a automated process that you can go through for a 3-step private administration notice. So what you can do with it though is when you get it and you see that it's related to mask mandates, all you need to do is kind of break it down. It's like, all right, this is how a notice is laid out. This is how you set out the notice. This is how it's worded. This is where you put a date and your name and who you serve it to. And this is the structure of it. And you can literally take out mask mandate after you've used it for that. And you can use it for, say, any kind of medical procedure that a workplace may want to ask you to use, for example. Or anything for that matter. It can be used for absolutely anything, because all that it does is it forms an agreement. The agreement is formed when we either tacitly agree, or we essentially just say yes, or like a full acceptance, or we remain silent, or we argue and be belligerent. We form agreements many different ways. And the private administration process usually sets people up to make that agreement in the favor of the one who is in honor. So important to be in honor when we're dealing in commerce. So all you need to do that is go to healme.health, and there's the mask mandate 3-step administration process. It's $20, and that covers everyone in the family. So that's each of the 3 notices that need to be done, all automated. You just put in your details and there you go. You get your notices and you can serve those out. So it's not, if you've got a family of 4 or 5, you don't have to do that for every member. It covers every member of the family. Now, a lot of people might remember that I promoted the ones by Solutions Empowerment when they were available. And at the time, that was the best solution that I had to be able to offer people. Now, there was nothing technically wrong with the process, but a lot of people found that when that company kind of split, thousands of people got kind of left behind. It's one of the reasons why from the outset, even though they offered me it's not like they're charging like $5 a notice or something. It's not like it was a lot of money, but they were offering me a cut. And I was just like, I just can't. Like, I know how much money that's probably going to make. And I was like, I can't do it. And I can't do it because I'm not actually endorsing them in their process. All I'm doing is showing people that this is what can be done to help. And if you don't know how to do it, which you obviously don't, this, as far as I'm aware, at this point in time is the best option that you probably got. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just that from what we've seen, some people just haven't been supported in the way that they might need to. So the team at Heal Me have put together, I believe, a more concise and better process, and it's automated like the other one, but there's a whole support system behind it. So again, at the moment, do I think it's the best option? No, I don't. I think writing your own is the best option, and becoming empowered before you do something like that is the best option. But we don't really have the time. A lot of people don't have the luxury of time to have learned this years ago. It's like they're in the thick of it now. So realistically, that for a lot of people is going to be the current best option. So not only can you use it to serve immediately, but you can use that to then empower yourself to learn exactly what the process is about, how it works, and then how to replicate that for future use. And you know what, someone said to me the other day, they go, I already paid for the Solutions Empowerment one. Why would I pay for another one again? It's like, dude, it's $20. If you want to go ahead and pay a lawyer $500 to write you one notice that probably won't get you anywhere because they're in the public with that, go ahead. But, I think sometimes we get this cognitive dissonance when it comes to, what we want. We want everything for free and we want it to happen now. We don't want to do any work for it. So, again, this isn't something that I'm personally benefiting from. I think it's just something that they are doing well. Yes, I'm affiliated with Heal Me, but it's just this is something that they're offering that I think, from what I've seen, I've looked at a few different offerings and it's sound. So for me, at this point in time, it's the best thing to go for. Also, for those that want to join Heal Me and those that haven't already got my ebook and my audios, I've given it to them to offer for people who join as members of Heal Me. One of the things that we've been doing there is I've been doing my Q&As on Mondays, and also I've been doing interviews on Thursdays. And for the people that are members, it's like a chance to actually go live Q&A for anything health related, anything rights related, because if you see how many comments and things you get on social media posts, it's often too many. So I want a closed platform with members on it. Then we're going through Q&A live where we can really handle that sort of stuff in depth. So if that interests you, then we're offering those free to members who join Heal Me at the moment. If you just want to get the audios, they're on tombarnett.tv, and those are 3 hand-picked audios from the workshops that I've done that I haven't actually explained one of the reasons I've done it. One of the reasons that I've never taught, I never wanted to actually teach people about things like private administration and how to reserve your rights and how to do everything, is because first of all, other people already do it. People asked me for a year, and I was like, no, go to Solutions Empowerment. No, go to Know Your Rights Group. No, go to Empower Movement. They already do it. Why are you asking me? Just go to them. That's their business. That's their profession. Just go to them. They already teach it. But over and over and over again, I got asked, they just said, I'm finding it easy to learn from you. We want you to teach it. And I just thought, but I can't. Morally, I can't do it, because I know for a fact that when you try to teach something to somebody who's not quite empowered yet, you become their crutch. And if they go ahead and try to discharge a debt or handle a fine or do their mask or vaccine thing at work and it doesn't work, they're going to come back to you, and you've got to then try to look after everyone. And that's not something that really anyone does. They sell a program or they sell this and that, and they just go, here you go, you fend for yourself. But morally, for me, I can't do that, because I know it's like sort of teaching someone how to sort of shoot, and then it's like, I'm not going to teach you where to get ammo from, or I'm not going to teach you how to reload after you run out of It's really similar to martial arts. You don't want to go and do one lesson of kickboxing or something and then think that you're going to go and take on the mafia in street kind of combat. It's not going to happen. You got to do something for a while, stick at it, become good at it, take the knocks, and believe me, everybody who's become empowered when it comes to verbally holding position and reserving rights or in writing, we've all lost something to get to where we are now. And talk to anybody who's been in the game for long enough, everybody's had losses. It's something you've got to go through because it's only through that you learn what really will work. I don't know that there's let's take martial arts. There's no technique that beats every other technique. It's the individual that comes to the fore. The techniques are just something that the individual uses, but it comes from the individual. And it's no different with rights. And that's why it took me this long to be able to get anything out, because that's just what I had to do. I had to be able to make sure that what I was offering was enough to empower people, but not enough to get them into trouble. Not enough to tell them, hey, you'll be able to discharge your mortgage tomorrow. Or you can just go and run around in front of police and blow them all off. And that's just not how the real world works. And in my workshops, I make that known in no uncertain terms to people. So for those that haven't gone ahead and checked that out yet, yes, I'm promoting myself at the moment, something that I don't often do. But I was asked to do that for a long time. So that's on tombarnett.tv. You go to the menu and then you go to the Empowered Communication in Commerce tab, and it's $30 Australian. So I made it as accessible as possible for as many people as possible. And like I say, if you want to get a grip on the private administration process, which is something that I'll be teaching when I do a full video course next year, but in the meantime, go to healme.health and go to the mask mandate, private administration, 3-step process, $20, and it's all automated. So you only have to put in your details and you get it all given to you. So that to me is the current best option to start to learn how to do that. Otherwise, when it does come to things like your rights, just remember that it's not something you really need to learn. Now, let me qualify that statement, because yes, you need to learn some of the nuts and bolts, but it's more something that you remember. It's coming back to your essence of who you are, because the rights aren't something that are bestowed upon you by man or government or anything else. It's actually given to you by birthright. It is a birthright. Your rights are a birthright. You don't have to do anything to get them. You just have to stop giving them away. You have to stop speaking them away and making agreements unbeknownst to you, because we are in commerce and we are constantly in this world of offers and then acceptance, non-acceptance, negotiation, what is it? But either way, we're forming agreements all the time. So as you become more aware of that, your rights just suddenly reappear to you because you're no longer giving them away. Because no one has authority over you or power except the power or authority that you give to them. Power is what you empower. And most people just give it away. And they give power to those that don't have it. So instead of doing that, we just need to take it back. And that's the empowerment aspect. And that comes from remembering who we are, acting like it, taking responsibility, and not giving it away. So then something like the 3-step process at Heal Me, or getting my audio recordings, if you don't want to go through Heal Me, just get them from my website. Those help you to just get some of the nuts and bolts. But you first have to come to that part of, I decide what happens with me in this life, not anyone else. No one has authority over me. No one has power over me. So I'm going to stop giving my empowerment away. It's mine. I'm going to keep it. It's mine. And that's where we start. And if you remember that, you'll get a lot further ahead in everything. Imagine for a moment that before you even learn anything about how do I handle offers, what about answering questions with questions? How do I remain honorable in commerce? How do I handle offers? Before you even know that, imagine that you're just so empowered that you can walk up to any individual, and with that empowerment, you just hold your position without necessarily knowing what that is. Now that is something you don't need to learn about rights for. And even with what I put in I've done in my workshops, I teach in a way that helps people learn some dialogue. But I very rarely would speak that way. I very rarely ask for a source of authority or come back with what's in the audio programs. Oftentimes I just walk up to someone and it's just a look. It's just the way I look at them and smile. It's like that speaks, that says I know who I am. And you don't need to necessarily go into the dialogue of, reserving rights here or quoting an act there or anything like that. It's the empowered communication which just comes from that place first and foremost. So, and I see that in society too. I see people who are already dialed into that, and they don't need to necessarily know about, like, how do I reserve rights in the technical sense, because they literally just walk up to people and things happen. It's because of who they are in the first place. So, not to downplay the value of learning it, because I really, especially as we're seeing in the world, we're seeing more and more need to really learn this sort of stuff. So as we do that, we do become more empowered. But at the end of the day, I don't need this to make music, right? I love this and I love using it. It's a great tool, but it's also not the whole of music. It's like, that's not all that can come. It comes from me in many different ways. And likewise, our rights are not based on what you'll learn from my audio recordings or anyone else's programs or products or 3-step processes or anything like that, but they are useful. So I just want to put that out there, because I think it's disempowering to think that if you don't get it, you can't know about your rights or exercise your rights, because that's not the case. Because you, remember, inherently have that. You just have to act like it. And that's where it starts. So, cool. All right. Leave it there. Hopefully that helps. I will repost the links to do that on Facebook, Telegram, Instagram. And stay tuned, because we've got quite a few announcements coming. I've got a few great interviews lined up, and some more Q&As coming. So for those that are in the Byron Shire as well, we're going to have some more events, and like the one that we just had, which was really successful. And the speeches and the Q&A from that will be posted by tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. See you guys. Have a good night.